Hello everybody, this is Creeper Kitty, and today I bring Do Not Take This Cat Home, a horror game centered around a black cat that you find on the street. Totally up to you whether you take it home or not. As much as I want to start off just doing what I would probably do in the situation, I kind of want to just not take it home and see where that leads first, just because that's the title. But we're gonna go with the closest I can get to my own actions, based on what options it gives me first. The rain's gone. You're not having a great day, as usual. Oh, great. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out, but in the middle of your walk, it starts to rain. And of course it does. Typical. But maybe this is just a sign that you've stayed home today. You should have stayed home today. Yeah, you can always try again tomorrow. Right? You turn to head home when... Kitty? Huh? What was that? There are only a few people around on the street. Makes sense to the increase of missing persons around the area lately. Well, that and the weather. But none of them react to the sound at all. That's moderately concerning. No one else reacts to Kitty. Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound of the entrance of a dark, dingy alleyway. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward. The ground dampened by the rain makes your steps sound louder and more confident than you actually feel. Finally, the sound source comes into view in the cold, dim light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, is a cat. Huh. Guess that should have been obvious. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. Hi! So cute! And it definitely knows it. You've never had such an opinion one way or another about cats before. But if they're all like this one, it's a shock they haven't already found a way to rule the world. You don't think you'd mind bowing down to a feline overlord? Indeed, I wouldn't. You look around the alley with a small frown. Who leaves cats in cardboard boxes these days anyways? Wouldn't they just jump out and leave the box eventually? The cat doesn't answer you. Obviously. It also doesn't do as you suggest and leave the box. It's just looking at you, as if waiting for you to make the next move. It's looking at me very expectantly, and I like cats. I have too many, but I didn't mean to do that. Good to know that is a button for that. Okay, I'm gonna use arrows because I don't want my screen on that. Enter? Enter. Take cat home. That is the red one's the right one, right? Yes. You know what? You reach into the box and pick the cat up, holding it out in front of you. Why not? You're all alone, and well, I'm kind of in the same boat myself. So, you bring the cat close. You didn't realize it was shivering until just then, but it slowly breathes easier as it presses into your chest. Why not stick together, right? At least for a little while. You think a little while will probably be more like a day. You'll be responsible and take it to a shelter tomorrow. But for now, let's get you out of the rain, okay? That is the responsible option. You stop by a small local pet store for some cat food, then head back home. You live in a modest apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. One you live alone in. So it feels weird having another living being inside it after so long. Even if it is just a cat. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you watch for a moment as it curiously explores the new environment. This lovely little... totally won't drive me insane. Leaving the feline to its own devices, you set about making the both of you some dinner. You take out the can of cat food and open it with the tab on top. Oh, I got wet food. That's smart. That's nice. You put some cat food on a saucer and click your tongue to call the cat over to you. It perks up at your beckoning and rushes over. It looks at the plate of food and completely ignores it. Maybe it doesn't like wet food. Not hungry, I guess. You try not to let it annoy you. The cat doesn't understand the concept of money to appreciate that you spent your hard-earned cash on it. It's just a cat, after all. I'll just leave it here if you get hungry later, okay? The cat rubs its body against your legs with a purr. You smile. That's enough of a thanks for you. It follows you into the kitchen as you start on your own dinner. You decide that you have enough ingredients for a sandwich. Bread toasted, mayo and mustard spread, ew. Turkey and cheese and lettuce perfectly placed. The rest I agree with. Tomato. Oh! Ow! You wince as you cut your finger on the knife while slicing a tomato. Why did I do that? Stupid. You feel a little embarrassed for such a blunder and sigh, tossing the knife onto the cutting board. You're about to head to the bathroom for a bandage when the cat hops up into the counter. It sniffs on the knife and meows almost pointedly at you. Don't worry, I'm alright. It was just an... I have a feeling. You watch as the cat starts to... Yep, lick lightly, but enthusiastically at the blood on the knife. At your blood. You're so shocked that by the time you come to your senses, the knife has been completely licked clean. Cat sits back, staring at you. I no longer want this cat in my apartment. You feel a little uneasy. Sure, cats are meat-eating predators, but that was a little weird. Right? Sure, you're no cat expert, but that was definitely not something an ordinary cat would do. Right? Well, regardless, you're not about to abandon a cat in need while it's still raining outside. Not after all your efforts. You're going to take it to the shelter tomorrow anyway. What's one night of awkwardness? Weird or not. It's just a cat. The rest of the evening, unfortunately, goes downhill from there. Even after covering up your fingers cut with a bandage, the cat keeps trying to lick at the wound. That is not unusual for a cat. I would say if it hadn't already licked my knife clean of said blood. While you're eating your sandwich, while you're cleaning up the kitchen, while trying to watch TV. You gently push it away every time, but you're starting to get worried at the strange behavior. What if it's got a taste for blood and thinks you're food now? You're not sure what you'll do if it starts to get more aggressive. You keep thinking about the cat food sitting in the corner, untouched. Oh, come on, enough already! You shove it away a little more forcefully this time out of annoyance. You feel bad immediately, but before you can do anything, the cat meows sharply at you and dashes off around the corner and into the hall. You sigh deeply. At this point, you're just worried that it's going to take a bite out of you in your sleep. Maybe a vet will have an idea on how to calm it down. You can only hope. You don't have many other options left other than tossing the cat out in the rain. After finding the number of a local vet, you pick up your landline and... lights just went out. Can't fuck with my power? Great. Just great. Rain must have knocked out the power. Also possible, I don't know why that wasn't my first thought. You check your cell phone and only find out that it's out of batteries. Shit. You must have forgotten to charge it before leaving out earlier. Shit. The outing had been so spur of the moment that I had no doubt messed with your usual routine. You grab a flashlight and turn it on. It's quiet. It's too quiet. Did the rain stop? But then, why did the power go out? You look outside. The sky is pitch black. What time is it? You turn to check the clock. Hi, kitty. Cat sits on top of your digital clock, staring at you. It's switching between a few numbers as well as help and kill, neither of which I enjoy. Thinking now, you realize the clock shouldn't be working at all with the power outage, but the numbers are lit up and going completely haywire. The cat stares at you. It's completely still. You'd think it was a statue if you didn't know any better. It's not giving off any indication that it's alive. It's not blinking. It's not even breathing. But its eyes. This isn't normal. You're afraid. You want to run, but you're afraid of letting the cat out of your sight. You consider tossing the cat out after all. But as soon as the thought enters your head, you feel a sharp urge to vomit. Those eyes, its eyes hold you still, even with your flashlight trained on it. Its pupils are large, round, inky pits. Don't do that. I was reading that. The flashlight flickers. It's gone. The cat is gone. Fear immediately grips your mind. Silence punctuated with a rapid pumping of blood in your heart is overwritten as your ears slowly start to pick up on the sound of static all around you. How is the clock working with no power? You don't know why such a question matters at the moment, but you feel as if having the answer will make some sense out of everything that's happening. That order will be restored. But no answer comes to mind. You back away from the clock and feel as if the air itself coils tightly and abruptly in response. Like a predator prepared to pounce, but waiting for your next move. But you're afraid to move. You're afraid to even take a breath. But you can't stay still forever, right? Whatever is watching you, you can already feel its impatience. It's too eager. You don't know how you know this, but you can sense it as clearly as if it had whispered. Oh, I don't like that traveled between my ears, right into your ear. That was both. Right into your soul. I won't let you wait it out. Not that you could, even if it did. You can't stay here. You have to run. With this thought, a sudden primal instinct awakens within you, making you tear yourself into a hasty burst of movement, of action. But you're still weak from the fears gripping on your mind. Your legs tangle together under you in your haste, and you fall to the ground. Ow, that sounded like it really hurt. A sharp pain explodes in the center of your foot. At first, you think you've broken your ankle, but something warm and wet trickles down the length of your foot, pooling underneath it. You hear the sound of metal scraping on tiles after skidding across the floor, as if it had been kicked. Winded from your fall, you look up in a daze and see the object glinting in a strange light coming in from outside. The light pouring in from your now open front door. Thoughts of how, when, who, what in regards to your inexplicably open door screech to a halt as your brain finally identifies the metallic object you've been staring at. It's your kitchen knife. It's still tinted red from your earlier blunder, but that's not right. Wasn't it completely lit clean by the... You gulp dryly at the pain in your foot. You barely have time to wonder how the knife ended up on your living room floor to be stepped on, instead of resting on your cutting board in the kitchen, where you'd left it, when you spy something in the darkness just beyond the knife. Hi. It spies right back at you. No. A pair of glowing golden eyes come forward as the cat emerges from the shadows into the light from your doorway. No! It pads lightly over the knife, as if skipping in delight, and bends down to lap at the blood dripping from the blade. Ah. Your senses slowly begin to overwhelm you. The chill of the air as it starts to suffocate you under its weight. The sound of your shaky breaths, discordant against the static now piercing your skull. The dryness on your tongue spreading to your throat. The incomprehensible sight of the stray you'd taken in. licking away at your kitchen knife, once again completely clean. The scent of blood from the the flesh wound on your foot. Blood. Golden eyes slide up to you as if in response to your sudden realization. Blood. You're hurt. Your foot is bleeding. You're bleeding. You're bleeding. The cat barely moves, shoulders twitching as if just considering the act of pouncing forward. But you're already on your feet and out the door. You run, or rather limp, down the empty street. The sky is black and bleeding red. But there's a strange light emanating from nowhere that casts everything else in white. The houses, the trees, the road, even you. Everything. Except your blood. You can just barely glimpse the bloody imprints your injured foot leaves in your wake with every impact it makes with the ground. It hurts. It hurts. But you can't stop. You don't stop. Not when the shadows grow around you. Not when you feel the gaze of eyes all over you. Not when the road ahead of you is darkened by a long shadow of something behind you. Even then, you don't stop running, because if that's the cat right there ahead of you, then what in the world is behind you? I don't like either option. I'm finally given an option. I don't like either one. I can't stop running. No. The cat at least is small, and unless it's blocking, like, directly whatever light is shining on everything, I have to just keep running. Huh. Interesting. How very, very interesting. Ending 0. It begins. Huh. Interesting. Oh, wait, huh? Continue? Wait. You're walking. Right, of course. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out. And you're actually glad that you did. Oh no, I see what's happened. The weather is absolutely perfect today. That's a good sign, right? Maybe your luck is finally starting to turn around. You tentatively allow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do. Maybe even who you could meet. You're so deep in thought you almost miss it. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound of the entrance of a lonely alleyway. The sunlight only just manages to reach down in between the tall buildings on either side. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward, the loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Finally, the sound's source comes into view in the warm, almost ethereal light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, is a cat. Huh. Guess that should have been obvious? It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. So... You look so... familiar. Right? Then again, it is a cat. Not many different ways for a standard black cat to look, after all. This one sure is a cutie, though. Just look. It's It's not glaring at you or hissing at you for getting this close like other stray cats have in the past. It's just sitting there patiently, waiting for you to do something. Do I make the same mistakes? Do I dare? I dare. I dare. I can't help it. Well, why not? Right? You barely reach out your arms before the cat eagerly leaps into them and climbs up onto your shoulders. It's so much more friendly in this one. It butts its head into your temple, nuzzling against it. I don't regret this choice. I don't regret this choice. I don't care what happens from here. It's cute. You can't help but smile at the cat's enthusiasm. Let's get you out of here. Yeah. On the way home, you briefly consider getting cat food. But that would be a waste of time. You shrug at the odd feeling and move on. You live in a modest apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, one you live alone in. It feels weird having another living being inside it after so long, even if it is just a cat. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you wait for it to walk away and explore the new environment. Why is it breathing noise? But it simply sits and looks up at you expectantly. Huh. I don't like the breathing. I really don't like the breathing. I'm gonna do something with the cat. I just got this cat. I want to do something with the cat. Like what? Well, I didn't get cat food, so I'm not really sure what I'd feed it, aside from maybe turkey I technically might have in the fridge. I could play with the cat, I could clean the cat. On second thought, so I can go back, I guess. I just got it from an alley. I'll clean it. Upon giving it a second look, you realize the cat isn't exactly clean. Not surprising, since up until you brought it home, it's been sitting in a dirty old box in an alley full of scattered garbage. For who knows how long. You've heard that cats can keep themselves clean. Maybe this is one of those times that a little human help couldn't hurt. You head into the bathroom and set things up, trying to remember how to wash a cat. I don't actually know the answer to that one myself. You're definitely no expert, but you think the best way to get a cat clean would be carefully. Carefully? Very carefully. You think careful is the way to go. Cats aren't always fond of water, so you doubt it'll be a fan of an excessive amount of it. They aren't. So you pick the cat up and place it gently in the sink before turning on the water. The cat is startled, but ultimately doesn't try to run away. Nice. You gather your hands with some soap and carefully give the cat a thorough half-scrub, half-massage. After a few minutes, you rinse the cat completely and gather it in a blanket, drying it. Then you take a brush and carefully run it through the cat's fur. That is a happy, now clean kitty. The cat seems like it's in heaven as you brush it. Some hairs are sticking to you, but you don't mind. In fact, quite a lot of fur is sticking on you. You try to brush it away, but it won't come off. Guess you're up next for a bath yourself. You try to ignore the fur and finish with the cat quickly, but more hair keeps sticking to you. Your hands, your arms. Before you realize that you're covered in fur that won't come off. It's thick enough that you try to just yank it off, but... Ow! What? Pain lances through the spot you tugged at. Upon closer inspection, you see that the hair is growing. Growing out of you. You can actually feel it now. fur growing out of your back, your neck, your face, your eyes, your tongue. It's even growing inside your throat. As you collapse and start to choke on the thickening fur in your esophagus, the cat leans up to lap the fur growing out of your forehead, grooming your hair as thoroughly as you did for it earlier. You think it'd be sweet if you weren't currently losing air. Still, feels nice at least to be looked after and cared for in some way, even if it's just for a little while longer. The cat's careful grooming is the last thing you feel before you're no longer able to breathe. What the fuck? I need like a gallon of water after that. What the goddamn? Well, if I'm gonna get more water real quick and pet my real cat for a moment, because I need to take a step away after what? Why? I'll be back. Fuck. Anyway, I don't have any saves, so I guess I'll start saving when things actually work out for me. I kind of want to try that again, just to see if it gives me the same ending. Like, if it doesn't tell me that something's wrong with that option, basically. Whatever. How do you describe things? I don't know. You're walking. Right, of course. Oh. Wow, that skip button is fast. I'll take the cat home. Okay, it seems like this is where the game actually starts. So I want to do something with the cat. I want to clean the cat. Ooh. Carefully. Yep, it's exactly the same. Okay, cool. I'm glad that skip button's there. So this is where it actually starts. So, I want to take the cat. Now, I could take the option of just finishing out that part. There's a spider on my ceiling. What are you doing there? Fuck, hold on. For those at home, I have a small, like, cup that came with a bug catching kit I got when I was a kid, like, years ago. So whenever I find spiders and shit in my house, I just use that to cup them and put them outside. As long as they're small enough, which usually they are. I don't live somewhere with huge spiders. But it can get a little, hectic sometimes. Usually they don't try to run very fast. Holy hell, the music. Okay, I'm gonna try and... Well, at this point in the game, doing what I want to do isn't gonna get me much of anywhere aside from slowly more endings very haphazardly. So, you know what? I will try and clean it quickly this time. But assuming that kills me, I'm gonna try and feed it afterwards. Cats don't like water, you think? So a quick wash would be the way to go, right? You decide to do everything at once, filling the tub deep with soapy, bubbly, warm water. A quick dunk here, a short scrubbing there, then rinse and dry. The cat won't even know what hit it before everything's over. You open the door and click your tongue, beckoning the cat inside. He quickly scampers in, curious of the newly available setting. below. You close the door so it won't be able to run out and make a mess of the apartment. Stealing yourself, you roll up your sleeves. That's a horrible idea! You lift up the cat and carry it over to the tub. Your plan's already compromised as the cat starts to struggle in your hold. You probably should have held it so it couldn't see the water. Ow, ow, hey! It scratches at your arms. Yep, you knew it wouldn't be happy about the water. But you didn't think you'd be this irate. Still as mad as it will be at you for a little while, you know this is for the best. Ow! A deep scratch to your bicep startles you, making you drop the cat into the tub. Oh no. I'm sorry! Shoot! Kitty? Cat doesn't re-emerge hissing and yowling like you thought it would. That's more troublesome. You rush over and dunk your arms beneath the soapy surface searching for the cat. What if it bumped its head and blacked out? It would drown! But you don't find the cat. Instead... What the... You watch as the water starts to darken. At first you think it's just dirt from the cat and feel a little vindicated about your decision, but... The water darkens further and further, until it looks like you filled your tub with black ink rather than water. Even the soap bubbles are translucent obsidian now. This is... Something's not right. But as soon as you have this thought... Whoa! You just felt something tugging you from under the water. You try to pull away, but your arm won't budge. Whatever it is, it pulls you closer toward the water. You try to use your free hand to release the drain plug, but when you dunk your other arm in the water without thinking, it's grabbed too. Both hands restrained, you can't get any leverage to force yourself free. Help! You're dragged in the murky waters of the tub. You're dragged down, and down, and down further still. Much farther than it should be possible for your bathtub. You can't breathe. You think you can't see either, but as you draw your final breath, you think you see what has been pulling you down. Something resting deep, deep down below. Something waiting. For you. Bath hater. Bath hater. I don't know why, something about that title is really funny. Okay, let's go. Let's try that again. I probably should save. Take the cat home. Just like with the cat. I want to save. Right here. Return. I should have saved before everything. Because now I don't have that option anymore. It's gone. Okay, I want to feed the cat this time. Cat looks hungry, so you decide to feed it. You're regretting not stopping for food earlier, as you don't have much left. Grocery shopping day is tomorrow, after all. That explains why I only had enough for a sandwich. You enter the kitchen and click your tongue, and ensuring the cat follows after you. It leaps nimbly onto the kitchen counter and watches as you search for meal options. Let's see. You find some things you expect. Can of tuna in the pantry, some leftover meatloaf in the fridge, and... Huh? What's that? You realize there's a tightly sealed Tupperware on the bottom shelf of the fridge. Why did it do that? You don't recognize it. The foul odor is leaking from the container. Whatever's inside can't be safe for human consumption. But the cat seems excited about it, practically salivating over it. Still, you're the caretaker here. You're the one who needs to decide what's best to feed a hungry cat. So you'll feed it... I'm deeply concerned about what's in that container, but I'm also very curious, and the cat seems to want it. But I'm also reasonably not going to feed a cat a thing that I don't even know what is. So I'm gonna go with tuna. We're gonna go tuna. Cats like fish, right? Shrugging, you take out the tuna for the cat and the meatloaf for yourself. You put the frankly ominous container back in the fridge. The cat looks a little disappointed. Tough. You'll need to dispose of that weird whatever it is later. You open the tuna and spoon it into a small saucer. You put the saucer on the kitchen counter next to the cat. You don't think you should be encouraging it to eat up there, but you figure it'll make up for electing not to feed it the toxic goop it wanted. The cat looks like it finds the tuna acceptable. You'll take it. Eat up, kitty. As the cat digs into its meal, you go about heating up the meatloaf in the microwave. While setting the timer, you hear... You turn and see that the cat is... that the plate. The plate is completely empty. Whoa, that was quick. You need to pace yourself. What the... You watch, baffled, as the cat continues to hiccup, causing little bubbles to float out of its mouth. Okay. That's okay. You can process this. It's not completely out of the realm of what's possible, right? Right. Best not to think too hard about it. Soon enough, the room is full of the floating bubbles. The cat releases a final tiny bubble before yawning and laying down right there on the counter. Well, glad you enjoyed it. The bubbles haven't left the room or popped. They seem to be pretty resilient. Wait. What? What's that? As one of the bubbles floats closer to you, you see that there's actually something inside it. A tiny, furry fish? This is just getting weirder and weirder. Still, you can't help but marvel at the impossible wonder in front of you. Oh, don't touch it. You lift a hand. You extend a finger towards the bubble, carefully pressing it against the surface. Ow! The little fish inside lashes out, viciously sinking tiny fangs into your finger. It doesn't really hurt that much at first, but then... Ow! What? Pain starts to climb from your finger to the rest of your hand, past your wrist. Could it be some kind of venom? You fling your arm around in an attempt to dislodge the fish, but... You accidentally knock your arm into several of the bubbles floating around. More tiny ravenous fish lash onto your flesh. You stumble back out of pain in a sudden bout of dizziness, only to bump into more bubbles. More fish digging their teeth into your back. It hurts. I'm getting dizzy. Got to get out. You deliriously try to stumble out of the kitchen, but the entire room is filled with the deadly bubbles. By the time you collapse to the ground, you're absolutely covered in tiny, angry, biting fish. Your legs, your torso, your arms, your face. The pain is unbearable. You can feel it in your skin, your teeth, and your eyes, and your hair, and it's so consuming you can't even feel yourself convulsing or crying. You don't black out. Your eyes are still rolling up into your skull when you gasp out your last breath. What in the goddamn? This is a very strange cat. It's very strange. What if I feed it meatloaf? What happens if I feed it meatloaf? I want to feed the cat. I want to give it the meatloaf. I don't want to give it what's in that container, but that might be the only good thing here. Get the feeling the cat won't be too impressed with anything that comes out of a can. And you're not about to feed it whatever the heck that toxic-looking sludge is. So it's settled. A tuna sandwich for you, and leftover meatloaf for your feline guest. You ignore the cat's disappointed meows as you put the weird container back in the fridge to dispose of later. You warm up the meatloaf in the microwave. Meatloaf. Wow. I gotta get better at speaking. Or just play less games that need me to speak. You place the now warm meatloaf on a saucer next to the cat on the counter. You don't think you should be encouraging to eat up there, but you figure it'll make up for electing not to feed it the toxic goop it wanted. The cat looks like it finds the meatloaf interesting. Works for you. Eat up, kitty. As the cat digs into its meal, you go about searching for some bread for your tuna sandwich. You're so distracted by your search that you only just barely hear... What's it doing? You turn around and see that the meatloaf has only 1, maybe 2 bites taken out of it. But more alarmingly, there seems to be a red trail of... something leading away from where the cat had been sitting, and off the edge of the counter towards the living room. Is that blood? You jump at the strange sound coming from around the corner, further into your apartment. You attempt to steal your nerves. Taking your breath, you walk around the counter to head into the living room. You stepped into something warm and wet. And red. You resist the urge to vomit and step away from the trail of... You follow the trail in the living room and see that it leads into the hall. It's getting louder. It's definitely in the hall. You feel like you can hear your heartbeat. You hope whatever is in the hall can't. Your body shakes as you feel yourself step forward. And forward. And forward. And forward. You peek around the corner. Nothing. There's nothing there. What? You walk further in the hall and see that the trail leads all the way down to the end of it. But there's nothing there. You don't quite feel relief, but at least you feel something wet and warm drip onto your cheek. Oh no. Something very warm. You wipe your shaking hand across it and pull it back to see your fingers covered in something. You look up and see what can only be described as meat. Oh! The entire ceiling of the hallway is covered in a thick, undulating, writhing layer of pulsing meat. At its center is a single glowing eyeball, frantically looking around in every direction. Until it lands squarely on you. Try to take a step back, desperate to escape the hallway, to escape this thing. But... oh no. Before you can even scream, meaty tendrils shoot out and grab you. No! Let me go! They pull you up, and up, oh god, into a pair of slowly opening jaws. And then... ugh. Am I gonna have nightmares after this? I hope not. I don't remember a lot of my dreams. I feel like nightmares aren't usual for me. Ugh. Fuck, dude. Okay, I guess not meatloaf. But I really don't want to give it what's in that container. Is that the best option? I mean, the cat wants it. What's the worst that could happen if it wants it? This is a very strange creature, very clearly at this point. So, if it wants the weird nonsense I found in my fridge that I don't recognize at all, I might as well give it to it. Well, I've got 8, 9, 14, and 15 so far. So I'll come back to this another day. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched, I assume you did, if you're at the end here. I will come back to this. I'm gonna try and get every ending just because a game like this, how could you not go for every possible ending? They're pretty quick deaths anyway. I just don't quite have the time to go through every single one of them right now. See you then.